So we're going to work on word problems. And when I say word problems, they're not like crazy word problems. Like you're going to have to really think hard. Okay. They're not bad at all. So I'm going to teach you how to work these out. The first one says Sammy's mother is 2 years more than 3 times as old as Sammy. Their combined age is 42. How old are Sammy's mother and Sammy? So just take it slow. Okay. Take it really slow. It says Sammy's mother. So the way that I like to write this is I like to define it as 1-3. I mean 1-4. Looks like this. We're a couple pages back. You did? You guys missed most of you missed your orientation day, which I would have given you the notes on that day. So you didn't have a Monday or Tuesday. So no worries. Everybody good? Y'all know where I'm at now? All right. I should have done that before. That's my fault. So the way that I would do Sammy's mother is I would put an M for mother. Okay. Go ahead and take your notes and you can do that in a minute. No worries. You guys can put your Chromebooks to the side. You're not going to need them till we get done with notes. So that way it's not squishing your desk up and all of that. Anytime we see the word is, that's going to be equals. Keep going. Keep going. There you go. And then it says 2 years more than 3 times as old as Sammy. So how do I do 2 years more? What would that be when I write it in math? 2 plus. If you wanted to put it on the end as +2, you can do that. It doesn't matter. And then how do I do 3 times Sammy? What could I use to represent Sammy? An S. So 3 times Sammy would be what? 3S. Perfect. Perfect. It says their combined age is 42. What does combined mean? Add them together. So Sammy plus mom is 42. Now, this one goes a little above what we're going to look at for just now. We're eventually going to get into systems where we look at 2 like this. But all you do is replace. So we know that mom is 2 plus 3S. So mom is this one, and mom is right here. So all I'm going to do is put that in there. So S is Sammy plus, this is probably one of the hardest ones you'll do, okay? Mom was 2 plus 3S, gives us 42. These are the same problems that we were working in the beginning of the week, okay? We need to put our S's together. So we have 1S, if you need to put the 1 there to remember that, that's fine, plus 3S. 1S plus 3S is 4S. Then we have a plus 2 equals 42. I'm going to rewrite this because I'm running out of room. So it's just a rewrite. 4S plus 2 equals 42. I didn't do any work. We're trying to solve for S. What's on the same side as S but not with it? How do I get rid of a plus 2? Perfect. I get 4S equals 40. How do I solve for S? Divide by 4. Again, the same thing that we've been doing all week. So S would give us 10. What does that mean? Yeah, Sammy's 10. What question did it ask us? How old are both of them? Sammy's mother and Sammy. So we have Sammy. He's 10. How can I figure out how old mom is? What did it tell us about mom? More than that? What's the whole formula? Wasn't it 2 plus 3S? What was S? What was Sammy? He was 10. What's 3 times 10? Plus 2. So mom is 32. Okay. That's almost a little above what we're trying to do today. It gets a little bit easier than that. But what they want you to do is be able to write an equation from words. That's it. Okay. Sam's brother is 7 years older than Sam. His mother is 4 less than 3 times Sam's age. Their combined age is 63. How old is Sam, his brother, and his mother? Sam, his brother, and his mother. So it says Sam's brother. I'm going to start that with a B, brother. How do I write 7 years older than Sam? 7. If he's older, what am I going to do? Add. We're going to talk through this. These are a little bit harder. The other ones are easier. I promise. I promise. And then who is he 7 years older than? The brother. Sam. How do I write Sam? Yes, perfect, because we don't know him either. So there's your first one. Now we're going to talk about the mother. How can I write the mother? M. Okay, hold on just a second. I'm just representing mom. We're going a little bit quick, but we'll get there. Be careful on this one. You are correct that it is a minus. So I heard that you guys said minus. But it says 4 less than 3 times Sam. Anytime you see this less than, think backwards. What do I mean by that? That 4 less than has to go on the end. Okay, so we're going to do 3 times Sam first. Remember the way we do 3 times Sam is 3s. And then you said less than would be minus 4. So less than has to have that minus 4 on the end. That's the only part that's tricky. It says their combined age. What does combined mean? Add. So brother plus mother plus Sam is 63. What was brother? 7 plus S. So we're going to put a plus. What was mother? What do we write for mother? 3S minus 4. And then Sam is Sam. So we write S. Perfect. Perfect. All right, so now let's add our like terms. We have some S's. We have 1S and 3S and 1S. What's 1 plus 3 plus 1? 5 S's, so 5S. And then we have our numbers. 7 minus 4. A positive 3. And again, if you need a calculator, use your calculator, use Desmos, use your phone, I don't care. So then I'm going to move this over, just copying it, not doing any work. 5S plus 3 equals 63. How do I solve that equation? That's normal, just like the beginning of the week. What's on the same side as S, but not with it? So I'm going to subtract that 3 over. I get 5S equals 60 because your 3 cancels out. How do I finish? Divide by 5. And S equals 12. So Sammy, this time, is 12. He aged pretty quick, didn't he? The question asks how old is him, his brother, and his mother. So how do we figure out how old his brother is? So Sammy was 12. Brother is plus 7. So 7 plus 12. What is 7 plus 12? 19. So I'm going to put that down there. Brother is 19. And how do we figure out mother? 3 times Sam was 12 minus 4. And you guys can put that in your calculator, or you can look at it this way. 3 times 12 is 36. Minus 4 is 32. So mother is 32. You know, once women get to a certain age, they don't age anymore. You got to remember that. At some point, you stop getting old. All right. Next one. This one is much easier. Okay, this one's much easier. Online concert ticket costs $37 each. So if you go to a concert, you're going to pay $37. Okay, think about it like that. Plus, you're going to pay a service charge of $8.50 per ticket. So kind of like taxes. Got it? All right. So you go to the concert, you're going to pay the ticket and the taxes. Okay. The website also charges a transaction fee. So once you buy your tickets, you know, they put the little fee on the end for processing. Okay? If you don't know that, they do. It's terrible. So they're going to process it for $14.99. You paid $242.49. How many tickets did you buy? Okay. So here's what it says. Online concert tickets cost $37 each, plus a service charge of $8.50 per ticket. Okay. So there are 6 of us in here. Say we all buy tickets. Now that would give us the number of tickets we're looking for that way. How would you figure out how much we spent on tickets? You can add them in together, or you can do what? Times it by how many people there are, right? Or how many tickets we buy. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to do 37 times, we don't know what the tickets are. Plus, each ticket has a service charge of $8.50. So then each of you would also pay $8.50. So how do I figure out that amount? The same exact thing, right? Yeah. $8.50 times X. Then we get all our tickets and we get that total, and the online service says, oh, we're going to charge you $14.99. How many times do they charge you that $14.99? Does it say it charges you per ticket? Or just one time? It's just one time. So we're just going to add $14.99. And what did it say we spent? Our total was? Perfect. Perfect. All right. So just because we didn't get the rundown on the orientation day, when you guys are in here, there are calculators over there. You just go pick them up whenever you need them. If you have it, again, on your phone, you can use your phone. You have your Chromebook out, you can use your Chromebook. I don't care. For your final exam on the calculator active part, you can get your Chromebook and one of those calculators. So it doesn't matter which one you use. If you use both of them, I don't care. The only thing I ask is that after you use them, you can see that there's a couple in the white bin or the clear bin down there. When you finish with them, put them in there because I have to clean them. That's it. Okay, so use them. It doesn't matter which one you use. Just put it in the bin so that I can clean them. All right, so I'm going to use mine up here so you guys can see it. We have 2 X's here. We have 37X and 850X. So I'm going to add those up, 37 plus 850. Gives me 45.5X plus 1499 equals 242.49. They would not give you this question on the calculator in active. It's too much craziness, okay? So this would be a calculator active question. It's got decimals, but treat it just like you would anything else. What are we solving for? X, what's on the same side but not with it? Let's get rid of that 14.99. So we're going to subtract that 14.99. And again, I have to use my calculator. I could write it all out, but I'm being lazy. And I'm going to use my calculator. And I'm going to rewrite over here. I had 45.5. Was that a question? What was that? Somebody had their sound on or something. So I have 45.5x equals 227.5. How do I get x by itself? The same way you did up here, divide by 45.5. And again, I'm going to do that in my calculator. And how many tickets did we buy? That was it. So it came out nice, but it was ugly throughout, right? Not too bad. And again, a question like that would be calculator active. They don't make you do all that work with decimals without a calculator. Okay. All right. Let's look at, I'm going to skip the initial amount service charge and we're going to bump up to perimeter. Perimeter is more of what you're going to see, perimeter and area on your final exam. Okay, consecutive integers, which we'll do in just a second, and then perimeter and area. All right, so we're going to go with perimeter. The first thing that you want to do, it says the perimeter of a rectangular garden. So what I do is I draw a rectangle. My rectangle looks the same every single time, regardless of the length and the width. It's just there. It says the perimeter is 46, so I put that inside so it doesn't mess with anything else to remind me that perimeter is 46. What is perimeter? You add all the sides. Everybody good? What's special about a rectangle sides? Yeah, the top and the bottom are equal, left and the right are equal. Okay, so just to go over that real fast. The length is 7 less than, there's that less than I was telling you about, 7 less than 4 times the width. So when we see less than, think backwards, start at the end. How do I do 4 times the width? Now, I like to do W. You can use X. It does not matter. I use W for width. Okay. How do I do 7 less than? Minus 7. Then it doesn't give you anything else. It says, what are the dimensions of the garden? Okay. Well, if the top is 4W minus 7, then the bottom has to be what? 4W minus 7. And what did W represent? The width. So that's our other 2 sides because that's our width. Tell me again how we find perimeter. Add all the sides. Okay, so look at all of our W's first. We have 4, 1, 4, 1. So let's add them slowly. 4 plus 1 plus 4. 9 plus 1 is. So total, I have 10 W's. Then we're going to add our numbers. What is negative 7 minus 7? If you need your calculator, and I know some of you can do that in your head. Hang on just a minute. Negative 7 minus 7 would give us negative 14. Don't feel bad about using your calculator. If you can do it in your head, do it in your head. We will eventually get to points where we don't use calculators, but for right now, I'm going to let you do that. Okay, use them anytime you want to. And then we said that adding all the sides gave us the perimeter. What did we say the perimeter was? That's it. This question would be an EOC question. Pretty simple, right? Not too bad. Okay, now we're solving it. How do I solve for W? What's on the same side but not with it?
14.
Add that 14. I get 10W equals 46 plus 14 is 60. How do I solve? Not by 6, you get 6. Divide by 10 and you get 6. Here's the big thing you need to watch. What question did it ask? Read it again. The dimension. So it wants to know the length and the width. So we have the width. What do we not have? How do we figure out the length? It's this. So how do we figure that out? How do we figure out that number? 4 times 6 minus 7. So the length was 4W minus 7. So we do 4 times 6 minus 7. Again, if you need your calculator, 4 times 6 minus 7 gives us 17. So there's your width and there's your length. Make sure you're answering the questions that they ask. So I've seen EOC questions where people get every single thing right. They're doing the entire work right and everything, but they don't answer the question. So make sure you watch that question. All right. Here's another one, but this one deals with a what? Triangle. I try to make mine where the sides are different lengths. So I have a short side, a medium side, and a long side. It doesn't matter at all. but it helps me visualize it a little bit better, okay? The perimeter of a triangle is 43, and I told you I just put that inside to remind me. Perimeter is 43. This one says the smallest side is 3 less than the middle side. Smallest side is 3 less than the middle side. We'll talk about that in a minute. I'm gonna finish reading. The largest side is 2 less than twice the middle side. Okay. Let's start with this one. The smallest side on mine is going to be the bottom. It does not matter what side you put it on. I don't care. Okay. The smallest side. How do I do 3 less than the middle? Remember, we have that less than. So what do we got to think? It's got to go on the end. It's got to be backwards. So how do I do the middle side? Did we get anything for the middle side? So how do I write the middle side? You can do M, you can do X, you can do I don't care what letter you do. You can do your first letter of your first name. I don't care. So we do X, and how do we do less than? 3 less than. -3. Perfect. The largest side, and my largest side is this diagonal one, is 2 less than, so there's that less than again, think backwards, twice the middle. How do I do twice the middle? What's twice mean? Times it by 2. So twice the middle. We said the middle was X on the last one. And how do I do 2 less than? -2. -2. Well, I have a side that's not labeled. That's my middle side, right? What did I call my middle side? X. You're perfectly right. You were right when you said X. It's X. So we just throw our X on that middle side. How do I find perimeter again? Add them all up. Okay, so I'm going to add them up. I have 1X, 2X, and 1X. How many total X's do I have? Count again? 4. Good. 2 plus 1 plus 1 is 4X. Now, what about your numbers? -2 minus 3. -5. And what was our perimeter? 43. 43 equals 43. That's it. Now it's an easy problem. What do I do to solve for X? First step, add 5. I get 4X equals 48. And then my last step is perfect. And it gives me that X is 12. What did it ask for? What was X? Was it the longest side? See what I'm saying? People will give 12 as their answer, and that's not what they're looking for. You did all of the work perfect. You did everything perfect, but it asked for the longest side. Which one is the longest side? This one, right? So we're going to do 2X minus 2. We found out that X was 12, and then subtract 2. 2 times 12 is 24. Minus 2 is 22. If you wanted to put that in your calculator and not do all the steps, that's fine too. All right. So perimeter is what you're going to be seeing a lot of. Okay. So on your quiz today, there's perimeter problems. Watch whether it's a rectangle or a triangle. If you need help, just ask us. We're going to flip it over. It's not a quiz, it's homework. So I apologize. I'm so sorry. Just yell at me next time. While I'm going through it, if I'm going too fast, yell at me then too, okay? I usually go as fast as you guys answer. So if you need me to slow down, just yell at me. It will not hurt my feelings at all. Everybody okay now? Okay, sorry. Y'all just tell me. All right, so the last thing that we're going to do is consecutive integer problems. So do y'all know what consecutive means? Kendall, you play basketball. What are consecutive three-pointers? Back to back, right? So that's exactly what consecutive integers are. They are numbers that happen back to back. 1, 2, 3 are consecutive. 8, 9, 10 is consecutive. -2, -1, 0 is consecutive. Y'all understand that? So that's all it's looking for. So we have different types. We have regular consecutive. So your example would be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it says in terms of n, that means if we write it, you can do x as well. You don't have to do n. Your first one is always going to be n. Mathematically, how do I get from 1 to 2? Mathematically. Add 1, right? So the next one would be n plus 1. Mathematically, how do I get from 1 to 3? Add 2. How do I get from 1 to 4? Now listen carefully on your homework, and I've never seen an EOC question that goes past 3 consecutive integers. So typically what you're going to get is right here. Okay, n plus 1, and n plus 2. All right, so consecutive even integers would just mean we don't use odd numbers. So what would be an example of that? I don't even care about the ends. I'm just talking about in general, give me some even numbers in order. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, all of those. So our example is 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. We would start our first one with just n. Mathematically, how do you get from 2 to 4? Plus 2. How do you get from 2 to 6? Two to 6. Add 4. So then what would the next one be? N plus 2, 4, 6. What would the next one be? 8. And again, remember, we typically are only going to go max of 3. Okay, so don't stress out too much about the bottom ones. It's just getting you to recognize the pattern. All right, well, what about odd numbers? Can you tell me some odd numbers in order? 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. Perfect, perfect. Watch this. We're going to label the first one n. Mathematically, how do I get from 1 to 3? So that kind of looks like the other one. Let's see if it keeps going. How do I get from 1 to 5? Perfect. So what do you think the next one's going to be? Add 6 and then add 8. And again, we typically only do the 3. So here's what you need to remember. Anytime it's consecutive, just as plain consecutive, it's n plus 1, n plus 2. If it's even or odd, it's going to be the same. It's either going to be n plus 2, n plus 4. Okay, so that's the only thing you need to worry about. Even and odd only tells you, hey, skip one. Okay, doesn't tell you to do anything different. It tells you just skip one. All right, so we're going to start with this very first example. It says 3 consecutive integers, so we got to do 3. It just says plain consecutive. Plain consecutive. So that means my first one would be n. My second one would be n plus 1 because it's plain. It's not even or odd. It didn't specify. And my third would be n plus 2. Don't skip. That's what it's telling you. Consecutive means don't skip. This said 3 consecutive integers add to a sum. You're just going to add them up. So this is how it works. You're going to add the first one, n, plus the second one, n plus 1, plus the third one, n plus 2. What's it say they equal? That's your equation set up. You're done other than solving. Okay. So we're going to do the same thing we did on the perimeter. We're going to find all of our n's. How many n's are there? 3 n's. We're going to add our numbers. What is 1 plus 2? And they should equal negative 96. Again, if you guys need calculators, please use them. I'm going to solve for n. So what do I need to do first? Get rid of that 3. Again, we've been doing that all week, so you should know it. If you're not sure, guys, you don't have to guess. Remember, I told you you can use your calculator. Don't try to guess or check it if you want to do that. Negative 96 minus 3 is negative 99. We're going to divide by 3. Divide by 3. And what do we get for n? It says, what's the largest? Be careful because these are negative. I want to go ahead and find the rest of them. So how do I find them? I do n, which is negative 33, and I add 1, which gives me negative 32. What's the next one going to be? Negative 31. My question to you is, which one is bigger, because these are negative numbers? Negative 31. That's the one they're looking for. So do the work. Make sure you answer the question that they ask. Okay. So once you get it set up, the work is not hard. All right. There are two, this one says it's difficult, but it's not. It's just writing more. Like it's like 2 times the first, blah, blah. So it's not even any harder. There are 2 consecutive integers. So this time there's only 2. So that means there's just going to be n and n plus 1. We don't have the n plus 2. N and n plus 1. Such that 4 times the smaller. Which one's going to be smaller, the first one or the second one? The first one, because it doesn't have a plus 1. Remember, if we plus 1, it makes it bigger. Okay. So the smaller is n. So 4 times the smaller. 4n. Again, if you use x, you can use x. That's fine. Be careful on this one. Plus 3 less than, watch that less than, twice the larger. So we got to do this backwards. So we got to start with twice the larger. So how do I write twice the larger? Which one was larger, n or n plus 1?
N plus 1.
N plus 1, that's okay. And then it said 3 less than. Somebody said it, minus 3. Negative 3, perfect, is equal to 71. So what made it harder was that it used that less than, or it used 2 times. Not that the work got any harder, it's just that it made it sound harder. Okay. What do we do with that 2 on the outside?
Distribute it.
Distribute it, absolutely, distribute it. Great job. So the 4n stays. What is 2 times n? 2n. What is 2 times 1? 2. Make sure you distribute it to both. Minus 3 equals 71. Now it's just like your perimeter problems. We're going to add our n's up. We have 4 plus 2n, which is 6. Perfect. And then we have 2 minus 3. What kind of 1? Negative 1. We're solving for n. How do we get rid of that negative 1 we don't want? Add 1. We get 6n equals 72. How do I finish it? Divide by 6. If you need to, use your calculator. I don't necessarily have to again, but I want you guys to. So I want you to feel comfortable that I'm okay with you using calculators. We get that n equals 12. Did it ask for the smallest one? What did it ask for?
The largest.
It actually asked for, look at it. What are
Oh,
both of them? What are both integers? So we have this one. So how do we get the next one? We have n. So what do we need to do? N plus 1. So n plus 1 is 13. Those are your 2 numbers. 2 more questions and I'll get out of your hair. 2 more questions, okay? All right, so these deal with odd and even. It's going to be the exact same thing, okay? So the first one's going to be really easy, cut and dry, and the second one's going to have some of that 2 times, blah, 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 less than, da, 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 da. Okay, so it's not that it's more difficult, it just sounds crazy. 2 consecutive odd integers, so just 2 of them. So remember, we always start with n, but now because it's specified odd, we have to skip. We skip n plus 1 and go to n plus 2. Okay, so anytime it's odd or even, it's n plus 2. Those 2, n and n plus 2, have a sum of 40. What does sum mean? Add them together. So add them up. N plus N plus 2 will equal 40. It wants to know what are the two numbers. So let's finish it out. What's N plus N? 2N. We have 2N plus 2 equals 40. How do I solve this equation? Perfect, minus 2. We get 2N equals 38.
Divide by 2.
Perfect. And what do we get? Again, if you have to, use your calculator. We get what?
15.
Look at it one more time.
15.
Look at mine one more time.
9.
19. You see how, okay, here's what I want to talk about. See how you're kind of guessing at it? That's okay. Try to guess at it. Check it in the calculator just to make sure, okay? So don't be stressed out about that. I don't care. I don't care. Just use it. All right. So our first one is 19. It wants to know both of them. So we got N. Now we need to do N plus 2. So it would be
21.
21. Remember, they got to be odd. So 20 would be even. We want to skip it and go to the next one. Perfect. All right, last one. It's complicated to set up, easy to solve. There are 3 consecutive even. So when it says even, we're going to skip N. We're going to skip N plus 1 and go to N plus 2. We're going to skip N plus 3 and go to N plus 4. Okay, so skip. Even and odd means skip. Which one's the smallest?
N.
Which one's the largest?
N plus 4.
Smallest is N, largest is N plus 4, so that means the middle one is N plus 2, okay? Remember that. The sum of twice the smallest, so how do I write twice the smallest? You said the smallest was N, so 2N. And it said the sum of, so we're going to add. Watch this one carefully. 1 less than the middle. Watch that less than.
Okay.
So what do we got to do first? We got to think backwards. Middle, which one's the middle?
The N plus 2.
N plus 2. 1 less than.
N.
How do I do 1 less than?
Negative.
Negative what? 1. 1 less than minus 1. Okay. We're still summing, so add 4 more than the largest. Which one was the largest?
N plus 4.
How do I do 4 more?
Yeah.
Add them. Plus 4. Gives me a nasty negative 15. That's it. Now it should be easy. Add your like terms, finish out your equation. So let's start with our n's. What is 2 plus 1? 3. Plus 1 is
4.
4. So we have 4 total n's. Okay. 2 minus 1. 1. Plus 4. 5. Plus 4 is 9. Very good. Again, you can use your calculator. Don't stress out. All right. How do I solve this equation?
Minus 9.
Perfect. Thank you, Zamers, for joining in. We really appreciate that. Negative,
Well,
negative 15 minus 9 is negative 24. So 4n equals negative 24. What's my last step?
divide by 4.
Perfect. And I get n equals, and again, if you do use your calculator, that's fine. Divide by 4, and I get negative 6. All right. It asks, what are the 3 integers? So we got n. N was negative 6. That's your first one. We need to do n plus 2. So if you guys are not following where that's coming from, n is negative 6. We're going to add 2 and get negative 4. So now we have n plus 2. The last thing we need to do is n plus 4. N was negative 6. Plus 4 is -2. There's all three integers. Typically, it'll ask for one and not all three, so just be ready for that. Zoomers, stay on, don't go anywhere. Everybody else, hang out for just a minute. We are good, yep. So is there any questions so far? Zoomers, stay on. I'm gonna stop sharing and stop recording. Everybody in class, you can go ahead and start on your assignment. Zoomers, don't go anywhere.